All right, guys, this week we have updates ranging from workflows to call dispositions and more. You're not going to want to miss this week's weekly breakdown. Let's go ahead and jump right in. First and foremost, we have an update to the social planner. Within the social planner, we have been able to post reels from Instagram for a while. If you're not using this, this is a massive, massive lift for your business. Unlike Facebook, you can link up your personal Instagram profile. Now, that comes with a caveat. You do have to either have a creator or a professional Instagram profile type, but that doesn't have any unlike Facebook, that doesn't have any impact on your reach, right? On Facebook, you kind of have to have this you have to have a personal page and a personal profile and a business page, and your business page doesn't get anywhere near the lift that your personal page does. That is not the same thing on Instagram. It's really, really easy to change to a creator profile type, and even to change back if you see a negative impact. But as long as you switch that over to either a professional or a creator type, then you can use all the benefits of the social planner. So we use this a ton. We get a lot of traction, a lot of engagement on Instagram, and that's something that we just started doing within the last couple of months, thanks to the social planner. We use a flow where we have VAs that post the content directly to Instagram from the social planner, but they schedule it and then they submit it for approval, and we can go in and we can approve each individual post. Really, really cool. Besides the point, though, the point with this is that now within Instagram, you can choose whether or not the reels that you post get added to your feed or not. So if you didn't know, this is actually something that our VA taught me. If I go to Instagram.com. So let's go to the profile really quick and I'll show you what it is that I'm talking about. So within your feed, you have reels, and then you also have your actual feed here. Now, we put thumbnails on our reels, and so that makes them all kind of look consistent. But if we didn't do that, which a lot of you guys don't do that, then what we have when we go here is we end up with a grid that doesn't look very appealing. It has a bunch of like weird still shots of you getting ready to talk on a reel. Maybe you want to be able to curate this grid a little bit differently, which again, I don't know a ton about social media, but from what I understand, it's important. It's important to make this grid look different than just a bunch of reels on it. So I don't understand it a ton. Hope maybe one of you guys can educate me on it more if I'm saying something that doesn't make any sense. But basically what we now have the ability to do is we have the ability to post a reel inside of the social planner and then turn off the show on feed feature. Okay, so we can post a reel without it showing up within our grid, and this eliminates the need to put together some of those thumbnails if you're not putting those thumbnails together. And again, if you do a ton of reels, maybe you want your grid to be more of a reflection of like your still shots, or like I said, I don't know a ton about this. So anyways, this is now available. Check it out if you are using Instagram to market your mortgage business. Next, didn't want to do that. All right, next up, we have some updates inside of the workflow builder. So first and foremost, let me go ahead and move these out of the way, and then I'll look on screen here. Okay, so first and foremost, we have a new app. Okay, so when you go into the workflow builder, you have triggers in one column. If you go to apps, you can start to see some of the built-in integrations that High Level has put into the workflow builder. And so, for example, we use ClickUp. ClickUp is a big one that we use. We know people that are using the Google Contacts one, Notion, Airtable, Asana. So Asana is the brand new one. Okay, so I'm showing you all of these because if you didn't see our previous weekly breakdowns, you might not even know that this is possible. But now you can take a peek inside of here. So if you're using Asana, if you're using that as a project management tool at all, now you have built-in integrations, which means you don't have to use Zapier, you don't have to send webhooks. Really, really simple. These are all of your triggers, and then you also have actions as well. So right now I'm configuring the trigger, which is why you'll see that. But if I go over here and I click on an action, I'll see we have some actions in here as well. So definitely check that out. Now, the next update related to the workflow builder is that the workflow builder now supports inbound D&D. So before, If you wanted to DND somebody inbound, so let's say you're getting spammed by somebody on your number and you don't want that to show up inside of your feed anymore, inside of your conversation feed anymore, you've always had the ability, or you've had the ability for a long, long time, to be able to mark them as inbound DND from within the contact, but you have never had the ability to do that within a workflow. Now, I'm not 100% sure, like, I can't picture a context right off the bat that I would use this. The one that they provided didn't make a ton of sense to me. But it's available. Want to make sure that you guys know it. It does seem like something that might be beneficial for some of you guys. So being able to turn on DND, inbound DND inside of a workflow, this is brand new. Now, the last update related to workflows is the workflow switcher just got a lot more powerful, a lot smoother. So if you guys didn't know, this workflow switcher is here inside of the workflow builder. Now you're missing out. This is huge. This makes it really easy to jump between workflows and complete, basically, like we all have workflows or processes that have multiple workflows involved in them, right? So this makes it easy to work on multiple of those at the same time, kind of switch back and forth between them. Before, if you clicked on one of these, it would open in a new tab. I thought that was a feature by design. Apparently it's not. Apparently that was something that was like a stepping stool. Now, when you change these, okay, when you change the workflow that you're working on, it changes inside the workflow builder. Now, if it wasn't lightning quick, this would be annoying to me. This would be an issue. I would rather it open up in a new tab. Maybe they still offer that. Oh, okay, cool. That's really cool. They still offer the ability to open in a new tab if you would prefer that. So that's really nice. But by default, it's going to change the workflow that you're working on within this actual screen here. Now, what's really cool about this is that whatever workflow that you worked on most recent is what's going to anchor to the top here. So you can scroll through here. You can search which workflow you want to work on. This is another update as part of this, is they made the scrollability, they made it infinite. So instead of having to click through pages, you can just scroll through your whole list of workflows. Then again, you can search in here, you can navigate to it. And then when you switch, it's going to pull you into that workflow. But then if you want to get back to that other workflow, it's right here. It's the most recent workflow right at the top. This makes navigating between workflows and working with them so much easier. Definitely check this one out if you are using workflows at all. If you have workflows that you are building that are, again, one singular process, multiple workflows, this should make working with that stuff a lot easier. All right. Next up, this is one of my favorite updates we've seen in a long time. This is custom call disposition. So if you're not using high level as your phone system, you're messing up, period. Like, there's no reason in 2025 that you should be using a Ring Central or, any other phone app. I don't even know what other ones there are. Ring Central is pretty much the only one that we see people kind of hang on to for longer than they need to. There's no reason that you should. Now, the dialer functionality inside of high level is really cool. You can set up a power dialing session, and you can kind of call what it'll basically bring up a call one at a time. This is under manual actions. So if I go into here and I go to conversations and we go to manual actions, okay. So these are calls, right? These are call manual actions. If I were to press let's start, it would go through one by one and it would ask me for a disposition at the end. Now, what we weren't able to do before is we weren't able to add custom dispositions, which is now available. So why would you want a custom disposition? Well, in mortgage, it's really simple. And mortgage, in fact, in our business, it's pretty simple too, but context is everything, right? So in mortgage, an example of this would be like send app link. Okay. So if you talk to somebody, it's a great call. It's part of your dialing session is to send app link. Then boom, you could set up a custom disposition to send an application link, and then you could trigger a workflow on the back end that will automatically do the things that you need to do from there. Whereas before, you could only work within the dispositions they had here. So the dispositions they had were no answer, voicemail, follow up, requested appointment, not interested, and wrong number. These ones actually. No, these are new, maybe modified on 12.9. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure which ones of these are ones that we already have modified, but basically there were five or six standard dispositions, and they definitely didn't fit all of the required scenarios. Another example would be if you're working with an agent and you have send follow up as one. Then again, follow up might mean different things based on whether you're calling agents or you're calling leads. Custom dispositions now gives you the ability to differentiate between those. And so where do you find this? It's going to be under phone system and then under voice and then custom dispositions up here. From what I know, there aren't any limit to the number of dispositions that you can put. Right now, these custom dispositions are not filterable within the call reporting section, but that is going to change very soon. So stay tuned. This custom disposition feature is really powerful. And again, it's just one more reason you should have all of your dialing functionality inside of High Level. All right, last update that I have for you. This reputation management has been cool for a long time because you're able to kind of aggregate all of your different sources of reviews. So this includes, like, you can even link up your Zillow profile and pull your reviews from that. There's different stuff that you could do to make all of your reviews come into one feed, and then you can create widgets that you put on your website that pull all of those feeds together. Yelp, Google, all this stuff. Really, really cool feature. Okay. What you haven't been able to do, which seems silly because you can pull all of them from all these different places, what you haven't been able to do is you haven't been able to manually add reviews, but now you can. And so if you have reviews from a source that are not included in here, maybe you have a testimonial that you got via email and you don't want to ask them to go to your Google profile to list it there. Whatever it is, you now have the ability to come in here and manually add a review, put your own star rating, put the testimonial in here, upload a profile picture. So obviously this could be used in a negative way. This could be used nefariously. I think that's the word, nefariously. Use in a nefarious way. Obviously, there's ways that you could misuse this and abuse this, and we're not excited about that by any means. But for those of you guys that have a legitimate use case for adding reviews manually, here it is. Hopefully, this helps you guys. That is it for this week's weekly breakdown, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. Let me know if there's a feature in here I should have dove in deeper on, or if you know of any features or are expecting any features to come out from High Level, hoping any features come out in High Level. We are super engaged in the idea board. We kind of have an idea of what's coming down the pipeline, and we can help you get involved with that as well. So with that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for next week's weekly breakdown. But until then, we'll see you at the top.